Hello, this is Angela Anderson. Thanks for joining me for this acrylic painting tutorial. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to paint this woman with the braided hair and some flowers there. It's part of my Women with Flowers in Their Hair series. I did several last year. That's a long...
Where'd you come up with that name?
I think it's called boho flowers or something. I don't know. Anyhow.
Okay.
There's a series. There's 4 other ones of this, and I wanted to do one with braided hair, so there we go. I'm going to just do it kind of a little bit late. I'll show you step by step how to do it from start to finish tonight. I've got my husband Mark with me.
Hey there, buddy.
He's helping Manchester tonight. So if you've got questions, you can ask those, and we'll try to answer. Let's get started. Did you hear the quote marks there? Helping. Right.
It is on. Challenge accepted.
I'm using a watercolor canvas board tonight. This is Fredrix canvas board. I haven't done anything to it. It's good for acrylics too, not just watercolors. And I've kind of roughly sketched on my thing just to get my perspective, but we'll do the sketch here in a second. I'm going to be using some more kind of stiff bristled brush because I'm going to be doing this kind of Impressionist style like the other ones in this series were. And I'm using the square canvas. The other ones were on a smaller square, so if you wanted to do them, I think they were on 10-inch square canvases, but because of the braid, I just wanted the longer canvas. You could also crop it, and in the photograph originally it was cropped, but I don't know. I'm gonna play with the I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how long this takes, but I want to kind of play with the background a little bit, possibly. So we'll see how adventurous we get. But I'm going to be using my Aspen, Princeton Aspen brushes here. And just, you're going to want some sort of a Filbert or round brush. And the stiffer bristles will help with the thicker paints that we'll be using with this Impressionist style. It's kind of thicker, juicier paint applications. Okay, I'm going to go over colors. Got burnt umber, burnt sienna, yellow oxide, cadmium yellow light, cadmium red light, quinacridone magenta, ultramarine blue, unbleached titanium, and cobalt teal. That was a last minute add, so it's not in my description yet, but I'll be adding that. If you don't have that color, you can mix it with phthalo blue and phthalo green with some white. And then this is titanium white. Don't mind the dog noises in the background. Sorry, he's making a bed. He's digging up his bedding there, getting it just right. Okay, he's in for the long haul. He knows he's prepping. Exactly. All right. So I'm going to start, and we'll just use the Aspen 2 round and a little bit of burnt sienna, a little bit of burnt umber. I'm just going to kind of water this down. I also put out some gloss glazing liquid here at the end just for this because I'll need a little bit of it just to make it stick. Okay, so as far as our drawing goes, sorry, Fitzy, stop it.
That's fine.
The top part of the head is going to be right in the third, and so I need to kind of narrow it down a little bit. If you split this into thirds, it'll be right in here somewhere, kind of right on the third, and angling in this way, and then the neck's going to come down below the flowers, but it's going to be in there in that general area. And then the hair is going to all kind of come down this way and meet up at the nape of the neck right in here somewhere. And then our shoulders going to start at the edge of the neck. Got these muscles come down like that, and then they angle out and then come down like that. And really you could do whatever you wanted her to be wearing. So in our photograph, she's wearing a shirt, but you know, whatever you want her to be wearing, I'm going to bring that up just a little bit. So these will kind of angle out like that. And then maybe a little bit higher. You don't want her to look like she's super long neck, but you also don't want to do this too high or she'll look like she's got no neck. So it's kind of a catch-22. I tend to do the no neck style. I tend to err on the no neck. All right, so there, and then her arms are going to be in here. Of course, you know, if she's got no shirt on or whatever, or if you've got a, you know, sleeveless shirt, I should say, not no shirt, you know, these would look different, but I'm going to have her in a shirt here. So you're going to see these kind of pleats and angle them in toward the body a little bit. And these kind of come down, angle out that way, and just like darkest crease, right? Kind of, I'm trying to find where the ears are. It's right, probably on the quarter. So if you have this is the halfway mark, and then these would be the half of the half. They're just on that outside of that mark there somewhere on either side. And there's your kind of basic start to our drawing. And then the collar is going to come out from right about where it rests on the shoulders here. So it's going to come out a little bit up and angle in, and then just kind of go across like that. And so that'll be our shirt collar, and it can be across like that. Okay. And I'm not going to really bulk up her shoulders at all. The shirt's kind of just, you know, it's might be a little bit wider, but I think it's good enough. So that's our kind of basic drawing there for the girl. And then her braid is going to, I'm going to kind of taper it a little bit better than I did here. I'm going to give it a little bit more of a swing here. I did my drawing. I was just trying to get the kind of general size, but I didn't get the little whimsy in there. So there we go. So we're not going to do it straight down. It's going to kind of curve a little bit. And you know how to, you know, how a braid works basically. It's kind of gathered here at the base. So, all right, and then right here, I'm just going to put the little tie, and it's going to come, dog sighing in the background. He's so disappointed in us right now. All right, and I think it's a little bit wide on this side, so I'll probably take that part out. Let me see if I can get it off while it's wet. There we go. Okay, so kind of like that general shape. Just doing the outer border of it just to kind of get an idea. And then it's got 5 segments on either side. 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, so it starts up here. The first one is going up into the braid itself. So one on this side, one on this side. And then this is the first big one that we see here. And it's coming out, and then it's getting cut off by this one that's coming in this way. So I'm going to use a different color because this is not showing up. We've got so much other going on here. I'm going to go with a little bit more of a darker color here. I'm going to add the burnt umber and some of the blue to my burnt umber color. So, all right, so here's the first one. This gets cut off by this, and which gets cut off by this one coming around. And then this one comes in below it. Let me make sure that I'm making these small enough, because otherwise I'm going to run out of round. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, okay, let's make that one a little smaller. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that'll give me 5 sections. All right, so then they kind of meet up here, and then this part curves out and then back in. Curves out and cuts off right here. And then the next one curves out from here, cuts off right there. Next one. It's basically the continuation of this line here, just about. Although it kind of does end right here, and there's a little bit of overlap right here where this hair kind of pushes up into that. So we'll do that when we get going here, but all right, curve it around, and cutting it off right there. Yeah, it might help to kind of curve both sides. Curve that up a little bit, like that. And make that one a little bit bigger. And then this last one just kind of tucks in. And there's a little tiny one right here. Okay. I've made it a little bit wide. I don't know. We'll see. But you get the idea. Okay, so there's our girl. I'm not going to worry about my flowers until after I get this on here. So let's go ahead and grab the large Filbert. This is the 10 Filbert, and I'm going to use the burnt sienna in Ultramarine Blue. And some white. And I want to make it a little bit more blue than that. Okay, so just enough to make it kind of a really pretty blue-gray. And then white to lighten the value. Oh, there's my cat. Man, the animals tonight, I swear. Let me put a little bit of cobalt teal in that too. I wanted a little bit more blue, a little bit more. There we go. That's a pretty color. Cashmere is having none of that, whatever was going on.
She was trying to come in, and Fitz cut her off at the door and is like, you shall not pass. And she was like, oh, heck to the no on that.
He's like, this is my time with the parents. You don't come in. She was like, I was here first, dog. You obviously don't know how this works. You obviously haven't figured out who's in charge. All right. I think I added too much browns to this. I'm trying to get back to a more blue. And honestly, it doesn't really matter what color you use in the background, as long as you use the same colors somewhere in your painting too. So that's the main rule of thumb, I think, for me, is as far as like, just picking a background color. It's just kind of, as long as I've used it somewhere else in my, there's no, I'm muting that. Forgot to mute my phone. There we go. The joy of live streaming. Animals, phones, and no way to edit it out. I'd much prefer it this way, though, than trying to edit. I've been editing the same 3-hour video for like 2 weeks now. It's not going well. I'm down to 1 hour left on it. It's like, seriously. And my computer keeps crashing, and the program, it's just not going well. There's a reason why I do live streams. Just like the whole time, I'm just like, no. I may have said a few bad words.
Yeah.
I'm not one for cussing, but sometimes it's the only appropriate response. third time in an hour.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Which then drives you to order a new computer.
Yeah, exactly.
So you can use a different program. So thank you to all the patron supporters out there.
Yeah, we needed it because it's like, all right, this is obviously not going to work. Okay, so then whatever color you want to do the shirt, I'm going to just add white to this color, and that's basically kind of how I did the background in my reference photo. The original photo had kind of this cambray denim colored shirt, light stonewash kind of color. So that's what I'm going to use there, and then I'm going to use that darker color in the creases. It's a bit weird there. And there is kind of a shadow there where the shoulder blades are on that one. Get a little bit of the burnt umber.
So how you doing
Just using
tonight?
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Got
Welcome
a new
to everybody.
website coming up in
Ooh.
this spring, so talked to the website developer today for a while on the phone. Very exciting.
Very nice.
Yes.
Hope everybody else is doing good out there.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to the show.
Yes. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great.
You got a cat trying to help you?
Yeah.
There, over there, I can see.
Mm-hmm.
Is she purring into the mic?
A little bit. And furs are flying.
Oh, I'm sure. That's her superpower. I'm getting a little bit more blue. I feel like it's getting a little gray. Really covered up a lot of hair. I didn't mean to do that, but that's all right. Getting more white here.
It's okay to have blue hair.
Yep. Yeah, we used blue in the hair in the last one. We probably will this one too. It's a good shadow color. We're playing with the colors here. Anyways. Kind of angles out a little bit, like that. Okay. And I don't think that I'm going to do much. I might go a little bit darker, but I don't think I'm going to do a whole lot of detail on this. And you can see how, hopefully you can see how kind of thick I'm loading my brush and putting this paint on pretty heavy so that I can kind of move it around and manipulate it a little bit. It gives me a little extra time to do that if I load up my brush a little heavier with paint. And then over here under the hair, there's kind of darker. Go a little bit darker. Light's coming from this side in this picture, so we'll make this side a little bit darker, just under the hair. I'm just going to brush in some highlights there. Okay. Get a little bit of the darker. Not that dark. It's got to be obviously seen against the background color. So. And you can leave a little bit of that brown showing in spots too, if you want. Get a little bit of the dark blue and burnt umber. Just gonna use the corner of my brush here just to kind of carefully make a dark mark there. And then let's kind of make some really dark seams there. Okay, I think it might be good. Go a little bit darker here on this part. That's on the outside of the braid on that shirt. Just make our shadow where the hair is going to be overlapping it. Okay, there's going to be flowers here, so we obviously the head's a little, we don't have the neck in there, but it's getting covered up by the flowers, so that's why it looks a little funky right now. This will all be flowers, flower, 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 and flower all the way down to here and out up in here. Okay, so that's why we're not drawing in the neck. And really, there's just a tiny bit of skin tone showing up here, right around the ears. So, how's everybody doing? Any questions yet? We're good?
No questions.
No questions. We're good.
There was one earlier, but we got it answered.
Oh, good.
Is regarding not painting in the background first.
Ah, okay.
I said that you are old and you forget these things sometimes.
I was what?
Old. You forget these things sometimes.
It's true. It's truer than I'd like to know. It's not even a joke anymore.
I got another solicitation email from the AARP yesterday, so.
Makes you feel good, doesn't it?
Yeah. I don't understand it because I'm not eligible for retirement for like another 10, 15 years. But
they're getting you prepared. They're
oh,
putting the bug in your ear.
breaking it in.
Mm-hmm. They're getting you excited for it. So when it comes, you're eligible. You'll be you'll be the first to sign up.
Oh, I thought it was maybe while I was still kind of conscious and knew what was going on.
Oh, that's very careful.
You know me.
I know.
I mean, this is the best I'm going to be, babe. So it's going downhill.
Only downhill from here. Mm. I know, it's scary for me. Okay, just kind of adding in some shadows and highlights here, just a little bit of white mixed in. Just like I had that line there, but I just kind of want to blend it in a little bit to what was going on in the shirt. So, and by blend it in, I just mean I'm kind of overlapping it a little bit with the next color. So, and I'm kind of leaving my brush strokes really visible this time and trying to keep it really loose. I like that style. I may go a little bit lighter on the shirt. You can see how much lighter the background is and everything is in our photograph, but for now I'm happy with it. So I'm actually gonna get my short filbert here and do the hair up top. And I'm gonna start with my burnt umber and a little bit of blue just to kind of make it a little bit more little bit darker. A bit, almost like a black. There, this is going to be the ear right here off to the side. So I'm just going to kind of go along the edge of the hair. And this side's a lot lighter, so I'm not gonna worry about any of that. Okay, let me get the yellow oxide. What are you laughing at?
Beth says that the paper towels are blending in it nicely.
They are. That's hilarious. Yeah, I didn't notice that.
Okay, so we're gonna come up. We need to work with golden on a new pink color. Mm-hmm. Shop towel blue.
Shop towel blue. There you go. I like it.
Trademark right there.
It is. You got to remember that. It's a little bit of cobalt teal, a little bit of ultramarine blue, and some burnt sienna. Okay, so lighter side over there. And I'm just bringing that down. And you can see how when I'm doing these streaks, I'm making sure that I'm facing them, pointing them down, using that edge of my brush instead of using the flat side, using the corner edge so that I'm getting lines instead of longer piece. I don't know what I was trying to say there. All right. Get the idea.
Maybe I should be signing up for AARP sooner.
I don't know.
But we've had 3 people in chat recommend that we join as soon as possible.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I got to dig through the trash and find it.
All right, so I'm gonna start with the dark part, right where they're overlapping. And I've added a little bit of that blue to the burnt umber again.
So what colors were you using to do the lighter hair tones there?
What was happening there? What
were the colors you were using for the lighter hair tones?
Yellow oxide and unbleached titanium. Sorry, I probably wasn't saying because we were talking about AARP. You need to stop distracting me.
I can't help it. I put on a clean t-shirt tonight.
Nice.
I'm very distracting.
It doesn't take much after 30 years. Ooh, is that a new clean shirt? Okay. I know what that means.
You're making me blush.
Okay. Sorry. And I'm just trying to kind of figure out my colors here. Sorry, I'm kind of going back and forth here. Yeah, that's close. All right. So I'm adding a little bit of burnt sienna to my brown. And I'm just going to kind of flick up over the top of that yellow. So I added the burnt umber, then added the yellow color kind of in my highlight area, and then going in the opposite direction with a little bit of the reddish tone. So let's start out with that. So that's sorry. Boy, the animals. Our UPS is like a week late because of the snowstorms we've got. So I think we're getting all our UPS stuff that we were supposed to get last week. All right, so there we go. just going to go ahead and do them, do it almost all dark. Just leave a little bit of the separation so I kind of know where that is, but there we go. And then these kind of burn. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Am I on camera or on? Okay. Oh, my dog. Spencer is not here. He used to watch the dog during our shows. So.
Someone is at the front door.
I swear. Oh. It's just. Let's get it from all corners tonight. Okay, so using that dark black color, that the unbleached ultramarine blue and burnt umber there to do the little hair twist tie. I may have to do it again, but we'll see. So I think that's pretty good. I'm just looking at my reference photo now that I've got kind of a start. I think that's pretty good. I think I'm going to go darker in my darkest areas here. I feel like it's not dark enough still. So the she who shall not be named went off to let us know somebody's at the door. The doorbell rang. The dog's barking. We've had all kinds of fun stuff. The phone's gone off.
This is what sets us apart from all other just, plain old generic art channels.
You don't get this on regular tutorials.
And all for free.
Well, they do get what they pay for, so there you go. Alrighty, so there we go. So we got a good start here. So let's go over our colors again, because I've kind of been going over them quickly. So our darkest colors here were the ultramarine blue and burnt umber, mostly burnt umber. Just a little touch of the ultramarine blue. It just makes it darker. That's that color there. And then these lighter browns were these two together with a little bit of the blue. And then we're going to be adding the burnt sienna with the burnt umber on its own. So it's just like more reddish tones in here. And then some of the lighter tones are going to be yellow oxide and a little bit of the unbleached titanium as well. So those are what we're going to be doing now. So I'm going to spray everything because I don't want this blue to dry. I mixed up quite a bit of it, and I want to be sure it stays wet so I can use it again if I need to. Because I can already see my shoulders kind of messed up right here. I'm not really sure where it starts and stops. So, okay, so I'm going to get a little bit of that. I've got a little bit smaller brush now. This is the 2 Filbert. The other one I was using was the short Filbert. So it was a little bit wider, number 4 short Filbert. It's about the same length, but this one's thinner, about half as wide. This will just give me a little bit more precision. I may go back to the other one because I can get a similar width on this brush if I just turn it on its side. But this is such a small little area here. I want to make sure I get a decent control. So I'm going to go ahead and go in here with my yellow. And really add some brighter bits. This is just the Indian yellow hue. I think I had a little bit of that unbleached titanium in here too, just to brighten it up. And the key is to go over the top of that dark so that it cleans up that line. Because right now, see how it's kind of messy right here? So if I kind of pick a line and then just go over it, that'll be my edge of this braid. And then I can do everything up to this and leave a little bit of that dark right here. And so the ones coming in this way are going to kind of curve in this way, and the ones coming this way are going to curve in the opposite direction. So these are all going to curve this way, And again, I'll just kind of pick a little spot here for them. I get a little bit of that burnt sienna color. I'm going to come in on this side with that. Put a little bit of it coming up from the dark. And if you cover up too much of the dark, we can go back over this. You know, we'll probably do this a couple times. So just kind of get it as close as you can. But leaving lots of that background showing. I'm going to get some of the lighter color. So each time I do this, I'm kind of shortening up my section that I'm doing it. So the first area that like that burnt umber was kind of covering up almost the whole entire area here. So it's burnt umber, a little bit of the burnt sienna in here. And then when I do the ending or the yellow oxide highlights, it's going to be less. So I'm going to go over it, but I'm going to leave a lot of that brown showing. And then when I do my last highlight, I'm going to keep it in just the brightest areas. So go over that yellow, but keep it like in the area that's the brightest. See how we're kind of narrowing it each time we add a color. And that way we'll, by the time we get to the end here, we'll have all the colors kind of represented. We get a little bit of burnt umber here and start at the top. I'm pressing that brush flat, so I've got a decent amount of it on here. And I'm just going to lightly go over where it comes out. See that? And that'll just help kind of push that back. And I can do it right here too, coming up from that dark. If I need it, okay? It's pretty close. I've got an area in here that's kind of weird. So I'm going to get some of this darker color and just fill that in with some lines. All right. Now for the fun part, we can add other colors that are not in here. So I'm going to get a little bit of the pink.
Make sure your glue doesn't dry out.
Yeah, I just sprayed it. It's got a lot of water in it. Getting some unbleached titanium, a little bit of the magenta, and I'm getting that yellow oxide color, and I'm just going to add a little bit of the pink to my, and I'm just like basically just streaking in little bits. I'm going to get it over here because it's not light enough. There we go. Little bits of pink here. And this should be just barely tinted with that kind of pink. It should be kind of a pinky peach color. This will be in our flowers, but if we have a little bit in our hair, it'll just kind of unify everything a little bit. Kind of fun. And if you watch the other videos, we did this with the other ones too. So we always kind of picked a color that was sort of fun, you know, part of the painting, but maybe not, you know, a normal hair color. I'm gonna get some white here and really bump up that highlight and just kind of throw in some highlights with just that light color. Okay. And up in here, I'm going to go ahead and just widen out this and kind of throw in some hair coming off this way so I don't have to do the ears. It'll just be like she's got some hair coming off. Maybe she's got some bangs or something that are coming loose from her braid. Kind of a messy braid. Okay. All right, so kind of messing up her hair there a little bit. Alrighty. You don't have to add that if you don't want it, but I just wanted it. I did it. You don't have to. As always, just kind of showing you some options, something to try. You get the fun of making it your own. And never hurts to experiment. It may not turn out the way you want it to. That's all right. It's paint. You can paint over it. Never know until you try. So, all right, I'm going to do the centers here. I made a kind of a dark burgundy color with the burnt umber, a little bit of blue, and the magenta. Basically, I'm adding this dark color to the magenta too, just to make a darker tone. These are actually from our garden, these dahlias. Not this exactly, but the picture is photoshopped from one that I took of our dahlias from our garden. And I never was like a big dahlia fan. Like I was like, yeah, they're all right. But oh my gosh, when you see them in person and they're that big around, you're like, yeah, these are pretty awesome. So these are not to scale because these flowers were ginormous. They're literally that big around, and they were so beautiful. So definitely planting way more. I ordered some already to do this year. I can't wait. And to think different colors, brighter colors this time. All right, so I used these other colors here. It wasn't in the hair, and I may add it to the hair, but you can really make these flowers any color you want. And I actually kind of like this burgundy color that's happening here, so I may do one of them or more in that burgundy color. Why not? I'm getting some of the Cadmium Red Light and my magenta, and I'm going to mix those two together. It makes a really beautiful, like bright cherry red. You can see what it's doing here. And then I'm going to add my white to it. That's really pretty. Okay, and I'm going to use that kind of as a base color. It's kind of going to be like a watermelon red. And I'm just going to do these dahlias very loose style. So I'm going to draw them in. The ones that are facing out, I'm going to do kind of like that. And I'm going to do these two kind of with this more reddish color. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger too. Let's just do it. Why not? Go big or go home, right? Make it a lot bigger. That'll also kind of change up the composition a little bit and bringing it out a little bit. We could even put different flowers in here if we wanted to, not just all dahlias. You do whatever seems cool to you. I've got all kinds of different flower tutorials, so you could mix and match. All right, so I'm gonna mix up kind of a coral pink color here with the cadmium yellow light and red, and I didn't clean out my brush, so I have kind of some of those colors. Ooh, how pretty is that? All right, so, and again, I'm going really juicy with this. You can see how much paint is loaded up on my brush. And I'm basically just kind of scooping it up, and I want it to be super, super thick and juicy, so I just barely have to touch down and I'll get these kind of really nice brush strokes. And since they're wet, they're going to stay fluid longer, so I can blend into them. So this one is still wet, and I'm going to put some kind of orangey red over the top for the petals that are closer to us. So these ones back here are going to be farther away, and then these ones that are lighter here are going to be the ones that are kind of closer and are on top and catching the light. And then that's going to make it look like it's facing away from us like that. I may even darken that up a little bit more, get a little bit more of that burgundy color and add that in there. I'm going to get some of the magenta and burgundy and put that back in the center of that one. Okay. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger too, or actually we'll add another flower right here. So you need to start with your darkest tones. So that's what I'm looking at when I'm looking at my photos. I'm like, what are the colors that I'm seeing in my darkest areas? And that's even, it doesn't matter what the colors on top are. We just start with the darkest areas, and then we can build up from there. So I'm going to use some yellowish red. I'm going to kind of mix these three colors together and make kind of a peachy orange color. And we're going to use that over this and fill in there. And then we'll do another one that goes all the way up. Here, I'm going to go ahead and kind of get my lighter color so it shows up. Right there. Oh yeah, that's nice. I like it. Okay, let's get some of this burgundy red. Oops. Now, got so much on my brush, it's not one to lay down anything new, so I gotta be careful about that. Okay. Do you feel like she kind of lost her neck, didn't she? A little bit.
No, it's fine.
No, it's all right.
No.
Okay.
Actually, I think it looks better right now because it looked like the body was way too big for the
head.
For the head, and now it
Okay.
makes more sense.
Okay. And then right here in the center, I just need to go a little bit darker. I kind of don't have a really good dark color in there. I lost my... I know, we'll see. I left it here in that one. So let's get some white and some yellow. And these are just crazy riot of petals. They just all kind of burst from the center there and are overlapping. So, and there's just a little bit of that dark color peeking through in the end of the day. But these ones were a lot of light colored petals, which can be tricky. So I'm just kind of gradually lightening up and trying to leave some of the darker showing as I get lighter and lighter, and by the end I can just do some really bright white like this and leave leave the darker ones in the center. So let's do this one. And we're ending up with some pretty thick paint on here, but that's okay. Kind of goes with this style of painting that we're doing here. Fun, fun, fun. So I need to darken up that one. Might widen this one out just a little bit more. Let's use this color in the center of this one. Okay. Not 100% yet, but I'm going to use a little bit of this pink in some of my hair. Just a little. And I'm going to use some of the brighter kind of yellowish white too. That's up in the flowers. The cadmium yellow light with my white with a little bit of that pink stuff that we've been doing. I'm too zoomed in. Get that cadmium or the yellow oxide. Sorry, sometimes my brain's not working. Probably should have done this before I finished my flowers, but yeah, it's all right. Okay, I'm gonna let that dry, and while that dries, this is what I was gonna do. No, it's a little scary. I'm gonna grab the short filbert and just some of this pink from the flower, and I'm gonna think about where I could add a little bit of color. So I'm just gonna maybe throw some color on there, and then take a roller or a palette knife or a towel or something that you can kind of scrape with. I'm going to, oh, there we go. See what that did? Kind of added this weird, like, little thingamabob. I don't know. I'm not sure. I saw this done. If you don't like it, you can leave it out. But I just thought it was kind of cool just to have like a little, I don't know, little glitches in the matrix, you know, like little bits that don't belong that kind of make it interesting. I don't know. I'm trying this for the first time, so you guys are like getting to see me experiment here. Nothing like doing something for the first time live, right?
So to be clear, you don't have to do this. You could have stopped
And I don't know. Yeah.
for this.
I don't know exactly how to teach to do this because I've never done it before. So I'm just playing. There we go.
So
That's kind of neat.
It'll be okay. Somebody's like, what is
People
happening?
are freaking out. What is happening?
You were
What
there.
is she doing?
You were there when Angela lost it. You can tell your friends.
I don't know. I'm just playing
No,
with it.
hey.
There's nothing, no reason why we can't.
That's what it's all about.
Mm-hmm. Get some of the white, more of the white. And I'm trying to think of. Let me see. I don't know if it'll work. Here, there. I did a little bit.
It's kind of like when I painted with my feet.
Figure out the roller technique. I think I have to have it a little bit wetter for it to work because it's not really moving much. So, but I'll just playing with it here.
Man, I like it.
You know, you could leave it however you want. If you get it to a place where you like it, don't do this. You know, it's up to you. It's not. I'm just playing. We're just kind of doing a little bit different kind of style tonight, so might as well kind of try new stuff. That's what painting's all about. I might even splatter. Who knows? Could drip. You could do some drips. You know, if you like that. Get some fluid. Paint more fluid. But see how it kind of like, I don't know, it sort of modeled the background a little bit, messed it up a little bit. That roller kind of does an interesting effect, I think. But you could also use a sponge, you know, to do something similar. Or I could take I'm going to get a little bit of the
So where'd you get the roller?
I've had it. I had it for jelly printing. So if you've ever done jelly printing, what?
Yeah, so it's for something else.
Yeah, it's for printing. I did it for printing when I did it with my class, my kids' class. We did printing once.
And that is not something that's in your stores, right?
Probably not, but I think I did get it on either Amazon or Blick. I know Blick has them. So just kind of dabbing on some splatters here. And I don't know, we'll see. I don't know if we want to do it with this one or not. But I think part of the problem is that, ooh, that's neat. That's doing something cool there. I like
It
that.
needs to be greased.
Oh, my other one stank too. It was like rubber. And oh my gosh, it smelled so bad. People are like, she's ruining it. Well, and you can go back in if you're like, that's too much. You know, just it's with your background dry, you can dab off stuff. You can, you know, leave parts that you like. You can move things around while these are wet. You know, we don't have to keep it that way. It rolled right through that flower too and picked up some of the flour. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of neat. Just, I don't know, something different to try. Who knows? Kind of reminds me a little bit of when we did the sanding block too. You could use that sanding block technique and like darken up your corners or, you know, however you want to do it. So again, take it, don't take it, do whatever you want, but, you know, experiment, try new things. A lot of times you'll see like contemporary painters are doing this kind of stuff a lot. And I really like it. It's scary though. And so I don't do a lot of it because I'm like, you know, I like my painting. I don't want to like ruin it. But at the same time, it kind of is neat. And it does add like a different like thing where people may stop and give it a second look because they're like, oh, what did they do there? What is that? You know, so
It's freeing. It's fun.
exactly.
I can hear it in your voice.
Yeah, it is fun. It's something different. Yeah. I mean, you know, I do a bazillion paintings a year, and I got to try stuff new every now and then. So keep it interesting. All right, so using the white and my yellow now, and I'm just going through and adding some really bright highlights here to this one. And just short little brush strokes, again, kind of like what we did with the braid. As you get going with this flower, you're going to want to kind of maybe make some of these a little bit shorter so that the background ones still show. And get some of that magenta and red. Use that with the white. And if you look at these reference photos, the petals are all tangled up, but they're all kind of like little stars coming out from the center. And then the ones at the very center are coming kind of almost straight up at us. And so those ones, you're going to want to just do these little tiny brush marks, because they're kind of facing us and coming straight at us. And so you just want to do kind of some real little short ones right near the center coming out. The ones that are facing away from us, we're seeing a little bit more of those. We're seeing them from the side, so they're a little bit more long. So we can go a little bit longer with them and kind of away from the center. And then some of these that are on top are actually coming over the center slightly. Okay, and I do think I want a little bit more of the darker pink because I kind of lost it in this one. So I'm going to get the magenta and maybe a tiny, tiny touch of blue, which will just darken it up, make it a little bit more purple. And I'm going to
left shoulder just by the collar. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And if you do this and you cover up too much of the highlights, then you can go back and add more highlights. So it's just, you know, kind of a process of getting it the way you like it. It doesn't have to be done in one layer. You can do as many layers as you want. Although I'd say at some point just to kind of stop, because otherwise it'll kind of turn into a big muddy mess. But, you know. But pay attention to the direction your flower is growing to. And so each time you're adding these petals, make sure you're kind of going in the right direction that goes with that flower. All right, I'm pretty happy with that. I think I want a little bit more of a golden yellow. So I think I'm going to add the cadmium yellow light with a little bit of the red. So those two colors make like a bright golden yellow, and then add white to that. In fact, I think I might, instead of adding white, I think I might just glaze with that. It's a little bit bright, so just going to take my damp paper towel. Now make sure that this is dry. This has to be dry before you do this though. So very, very, very little of the yellow, a little bit of glaze. A little bit goes a long way. And I'm just going to kind of dab it on there and rub it in, and it'll tint that a little bit more yellow. Just make it a little bit more gold. And we could do the centers of our flowers, or, you know, add some of this in our flowers too. This flower I'm not really loving. I like the rest of them for pretty well. This flower, I just need to figure out where the center is and then like just make sure all of them are coming from that spot, because I think they're kind of coming from different places right now. I'm going to start over. Just going to wipe off whatever I can get off here. Start over with this one. Well, I mean, you may have to do this. I'm not going to do the outer petals, though. I only want to do the center of it.
It's just like you said earlier in the show. It's just paint. Mm-hmm. Exactly, Fitzy. Exactly.
I'm using a little bit of this color to tint over here, just what's on my towel. All right, so let's try that one again. I think my problem with that one is I started out with a mid-tone. I didn't go dark enough to start with. Or I had a little bit of that burgundy, but I didn't use a lot of it. So I'm going to get a little bit of the Unbleached Titanium and my two reds here. I'm going to use that in the center of this one. It's like really bright, like watermelon pink color. Okay, and so what's going to happen is, woo, there we go. Because I want to be happy with this one since it's the center of, you know, it's like the center show here. I want to make sure that it's looking really good. I'm going to get a little bit of that darker burgundy color, which was the gray, which is the burnt umber and black, plus this magenta here. I'm going to use that in the very center of that. I'm just making sure that all of my brush strokes are always kind of pointing to the center. And that way they'll make sense. So the center of this one is over here. So all these brush strokes are pointing to the center, which is somewhere in here. And then these ones are all pointing to there. And then these ones are all pointing into here. And I think I might leave it a little bit darker. I kind of like having it a little bit darker. So I think what I'll do is just add a little bit of white to this color that I've got here. And just use that as my highlight color. And like start a kind of a mid-tone. See? And then go a little bit lighter. And just using what's left in my brush here, adding a little bit of white. Because if you try to mix white into that color, you're just going to end up using all of your white to do it. It'll take forever. And I'm going to start from my center and go out because I want to get that center part correct. Okay, I think that's good. Having to kind of reload after every couple brush strokes here. There we go. Okay, so I don't think I'm going to do much more than that. I think I'm fairly happy with that. I'm going to get a little bit more of that original red and go over, just make sure my border looks good. It's overlapping these other flowers here. Going on top of the petals I've already got and just adding a little highlight on the tips of them. Right. Yeah, I kind of like it. So we've got like two that are similar. This one has got the lighter colors and this one's got that kind of reddish tone. And I really like the colors with this background too. And what I can do too, I just thought of it, is add just a touch of that burnt sienna, which is the background color. Add a little bit of that into the centers of my flowers a little bit. That'll kind of pull in, even though you don't really realize it's there, it'll pull in those colors. Let's put a little in the hair.
I noticed the on the right sleeve, the shadow that's being cast by the paper towel. I was like, oh, when did she add that?
Oh. Yeah. All right. I think I want to add some more splatters with the reds just down here mostly. And then we'll be done. I'm going to use this same red that we were just using. That kind of watermelon-y color. A little bit of white. I'm getting not white, a little bit of glaze. And more water. So you need to, when you're doing splatters, the key is to have it really fluid. It should just be able to kind of tap off your brush. And I'm just going to kind of pick a spot and add it. And maybe just a little bit over there, but like put it in one spot. This time. We're throwing out the rule book here tonight.
Well, there was a question. The person wanted to know, what is like the technical difference in painting when it comes to splatters versus drips? I mean, is it a...
Drips will have like you can do them kind of similar. So if we were to do a drip, we would use a brush probably and scoop up a pretty decent amount of paint, but it'd have to be really fluid. And then you can blow on it, and then you can add water.
Oh, okay.
Of course, it's not doing great, but a lot of times you'll do it at the very beginning of a painting, like when you're putting in the original colors and stuff. You can add little sections of water to let it drip. Like I could have added it here, maybe around the collar, and let it drip. And it looks really good with this kind of type of painting where it's messy. Where we're doing this like deliberately messy thing to the background. And then you can go back in with your, highlight color and then just like add in these little tiny pops of like really bright highlights just with the edge of my brush. And find where I'm seeing on the picture, where there's like some of this like brighter highlights. Say coming off the arm there. And it's okay to go over the top of your stuff. This is like we're just playing with it here. Highlighting. And you're kind of dry brushing too, so if like I'm taking it and dragging it across and just letting the texture of the brush pull off that, pull off the highlight. But okay, yeah, I think it's kind of cool. Hopefully you guys like it. Let me know in the comments if you want to see more kind of weird stuff like this. Might be fun just to play with it this year. Why not? We've been doing these videos for 10 years. Got to find something new to do every now and then.
There were several comments regarding maybe seeing like different hair, darker darker hair tones for
I
sure.
do want to find. I have been deliberately looking for a either black woman or Indian or just some sort of a darker black, like a black hair tone, and darker skin tones. And there literally are none on Shutterstock.
So
and none that are royalty free that I can use. So
we had a question.
Colors would be used. Oh, good, cool. Usually have color as black or dark brown. Okay, so I would use lots of.
So hold on first.
What?
So Arpita, get somebody to take the picture of the back of your head.
Yes.
You could wind up in the video.
Yes, 100%. Do your hair up really cute. Put some flowers in, or not even with flowers. I added the flowers to this one. It was just a picture I found. Seriously, do send me some photos, please, for the love of God. I have been looking for all year since last year, literally.
Right, so back to the question about the color.
I find a lot from the front or from the side, but I don't want the face in it, and so for this series at least, I that's too difficult. I wanted to keep it easy. And that not having the face makes it super easy, just doing the hair. And that's kind of the whole idea of this fun series, But yeah, I'm having the hardest time finding other ethnicities with, photos.
So for the darker hair for somebody from like India.
So yes, somebody from like India, I would use the same colors that we used here, the burnt umber and ultramarine blue and the burnt sienna. So those would probably be the three, depending on how warm you want your tones. You're going to want cool tones and warm tones whenever you're doing any kind of hair or, any kind of painting basically. So your cool tones are going to be like purples, blues, and some greens, like a teal greens or stuff like that. And then your cooler or your warmer tones are going to be your yellows and oranges and that kind of thing in your hair. So the warmer tones tend to be where the light's hitting it, and then the cooler tones are in the shadows. So you just pick your color scheme, and as crazy as you want to get with it. I like on the burnt. I did one last year that was a brunette. And her shadow area, I did purple and blue, ultramarine blue and purple, almost straight up. And it looked really cool. But we had, highlights of like, I think the warmer tones, a little bit of the yellow and a little bit of this in there. And then we used the colors that were in our flowers, just like we did tonight. So yeah, like black, I wouldn't use actual black. I would mix my own black. So I would use like burnt ultramarine blue and burnt umber, I think, make a really pretty black. You can use black. You can use purple and green to make a black. It sounds weird, but like some purples and greens make a really pretty black. I'm trying to think. Turquoise and magenta makes a really pretty black. It's similar to the turquoise and green. Now those blacks will be tinted. They'll be colored. So, they'll be colors. It won't be like black, but it makes a really pretty, for something like this, where we're doing it kind of Impressionist style anyways, it makes a really pretty, like, I don't know, undertones for your hair. And then you can always use black if you want to, but I think that the black tends to look gray when you're adding your highlights, so that's the trick to it, is to not make your highlights look gray. So you add just like a little warmer tone, just a little bit of like a reddish, or pinkish, or even blue if you want to, but that's on the warmer side. So like a blue that's like a turquoise blue, you could add that in your hair on your highlight side, and then have your darker side be like purples, stuff like that, and you could start out with black and then just add like little streaks of it to just, tint it up and add a little color to it, and just, not go crazy with it. So yeah, I want to do it so bad. So yeah, send me some photos. That'd be awesome. Super chat. Yay. All right. While you're doing that, I'm going to use my glaze, and I'm going to glaze in my shadows on my braid here. This is all dry now, so I can do that while you're doing that.
Alrighty. So tonight's super chat from Patty. And she says that she looks forward to Angela's live tutorials. Like you used to look forward to Thursday nights on NBC for Friends and Seinfeld
Oh,
back in the 90s. So
I remember doing that myself. That is really special. Thank you.
thank you, Patty.
That makes my day. Thank you. Yeah.
We got a question.
That's really cool. Okay, so this is that black that's this color here. And I'm just going to use it in my hair here to darken up these little bits here. Yes.
So the question is can someone please help? Why is our paint drying very, very quickly on their glass palette?
Well, you need to be spraying it. And if you're not spraying it really often, then spray it more often, with water. That's number one. Number two would be, are you doing it in a drafty room? Like, is there a window open? Like the last person I asked about this very question, they were like, well, yeah, I have my window open. I'm like, no, like you can't have a window open. You can't have a fan running. Any of that stuff is going to speed up your dry time drastically. And then I'm using burnt umber here now, or burnt sienna, to also add. Kind of just where it comes down here. I don't want to add too much over my highlights though. What was I saying? What was the question? I lost my train of thought.
Drying paint on the palette.
Oh yeah, drying paint on the palette. So there are stay wet palettes that you can use, but I think that, and you can also spray your palette with water before you put your paint down. Anytime you are I think it was too gray. I needed more brown. So I'm gonna use the ultramarine or burnt umber and burnt sienna, just those two to darken it up. Anytime you are thinning out your paint like this, mixing a color, it's gonna dry a lot faster. And so if you're picking your paint colors from your paint puddles and see how that yellow is, where I've pulled the color from all sides of it, it's gonna dry a lot faster than say this one where I've only pulled it from one side, and this whole back side here is gonna form a film, and it's gonna protect that paint underneath and let it stay wet a little bit longer. And then when I go to use it, I can I'm gonna finish this, and then this is the burnt sienna here, just kind of adding that. Yeah, there we go. I need a little bit of that. If I was to try to pull the paint from right here, it's kind of sticky. It's not fully, it's not as wet. But if I was to kind of push that up out of the way, then this stuff here is going to be a little bit wetter. It gets protected. So that's what I'm saying, So I always kind of pull from the one side, and same thing with this. If I push that film off, you can see the stuff down in here is going to be wetter. And so I always pull just from one side of my paints, and that keeps the kind of working area in the middle from drying out as quickly. So that can help. Humidity in your room can help. So if you live in a really dry area, adding a humidifier into your studio would work. What? Go ahead.
When you spread it out, when you've mixed colors and it's sitting there on your palette, you also struggle with it drying out.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I have to.
So you just have to constantly spray it.
Constantly spray it. Yeah.
And those fine mist sprayers are the best because it just puts little water droplets everywhere.
Yeah. Otherwise, you just have these big water droplets, but these ones that spray out in a continuous, like you can't even see it. It's so fine. Those are the best for this because it just does this tiny, it's like
blanket.
The rainforest of, like at the grocery store where they do. Well, yeah, when they do when they mist the vegetables.
The vegetables,
stuff.
you have to keep them moist, yeah.
Well, yeah.
Okay. We got a comment. So there you go. Said it helps to see someone do scary. It gives them courage to try.
Good.
So this was a good painting.
Yay. Oh, thank you. Thank you. That makes me feel good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's, it's a mess. We could definitely have gone farther with it probably, but this is a good start. I think we could have done a really weird color or done half of it. I saw one where half of it was one color and this half of the thing was the other color. I mean, there's all kinds of different ways to play with it and kind of make it really interesting and different. So we could put a pattern on her shirt. There's a lot of shirt here. We could have done something with that. Lot going on. But I kind of wanted her to be the star of the show. So that's why I made the background and the shirt the same color, just so that it kind of, this is part of it, but this is the star attraction. I don't want this to take away from what's going on here. So.
Okay, and what size paint puddle do you put out?
I put out about, well, it depends on what I'm doing. For this, I put out a little bit more because I knew I was going to use up more paint because I was using, you know, a little bit thicker application of paint. But normally I put in about a nickel's worth or so, just depending on what color, you know, what colors I'm going to be using. Enough to, if you put out too little paint, if you just put out this little teeny tiny dinky thing, it's going to dry out before you know, like the first color you mix. And probably that much would be too much, you know, like a quarter to $50 size is probably too much. So somewhere in between a dime and a nickel is probably about the right amount. And if you're not from the U.S., I'm sorry. But yeah.
No, it's about the same, about €1, €0.05.
Yeah, and when you're using the paint, you know, the paint deal, I hate to waste any paint. Yeah, I don't want to waste any paint here. But
we might start.
I think I'm counting to like 1 maybe, you know, I just like 1, 2 as I'm squeezing. And then kind of like if you've ever done soft serve where you keep the nozzle really close to the cone until the very end and you lift off, that's kind of how I do. So I keep it really close to the palette as I'm squeezing, let it kind of puddle up and then lift it straight up or scrape it off to the side. And then that way it stays in a smaller spot.
Wow, going back to your frozen yogurt days
I know.
and your McDonald's days.
Yeah.
Who knew back then you were in training for this?
No, not me. No, I would have been pretty excited. I wasn't really doing art at that time, so.
So yeah, this came out pretty amazing. You caught everybody off guard, and it's awesome.
Everybody's like, what's she doing?
Yeah. It's like, what?
Well, good. Got to keep you on your toes, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Got to keep people watching live, you know. Everybody's gotten used to watching the replays. We need more live streamer, live folks.
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah.
Kind of, you know, we had a lot of people showing up for the live streams all through the COVID lockdown, and then we've kind of gotten back to more normal. Yeah, normal.
We got spoiled with all the
we
people
did
showed
get
up.
spoiled.
Yeah.
I'm like, where is everybody?
But all of our unusual suspects are still showing up.
Oh, good. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Wouldn't be the same without you.
Even if they say mean things about how nice it is in Hawaii and that they're going to the beach later
What?
on. Yeah. I almost booted some of them.
Is that Sharon?
Shannon.
Shannon, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Just
I need that.
saying.
I'm sorry.
Our spam connection.
That's okay. My kids, I call my kids the wrong names too. So
Sometimes by the pet name.
exactly. They're just like, yeah, that's mom. All right. Thanks, guys, so much for hanging out with us tonight. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. We're going to be working on our part 2 of my I didn't talk about Patreon. I'll have the traceable for this at patreon.com/AngelaFineArt if you want to sign up for that. The traceable level is $2 right now in 2022. It's unlimited downloads for $2 a month, and it includes all of the videos that we've done since 2017. Yeah, so 5 years worth of traceables videos, which is probably 400 easily videos. I don't know, somewhere in that region. So anyhow, you'll have access to that. And then we also are going to be doing a bonus video, not this weekend, but next weekend because of the Super Bowl and Valentine's Day. We kind of had to put it off a week, but normally we do it like the second Sunday of the month we'll do a bonus video that is like about a 4 to 5 hour video. That's a more difficult. We're doing a landscape this month, and then on Thursdays I do a live stream with my $10 patrons, and they get their own little. We are working on an English cottage this month, so it's going to be like a little cottage with some flowers and stuff. It'll be really fun. So,
and there's other levels they can check out too.
Right. And if you go to that link at the very first post on there, it'll show our schedule of this for this month. So you'll see kind of what we're going to be working on. And my website also, if you go pop up my website link, thankfulart.com. If you go there, you can sign up for my newsletter, and we send out a newsletter every Friday to let you know kind of what's going on. And you also get access to one of my bonus videos for free. So it'll show you it's called a Mandarin duck. It'll show you kind of what we do. And then you get a coloring chart too for signing up for the newsletter. And you get, what else? You can see on my exclusive videos page there on my website, there's an exclusive videos page, and you can scroll through there and see all the $5 and $10 videos that are available. So if you're kind of like what is available on Patreon, that's where you can find it. All right. Hopefully that was too much information there at the end. Lots of information. Hopefully some of it was helpful to you. If you're part of our Patreon crew, Mark already said, but we so appreciate you guys so much. Thank you so much. And like you said, you're helping us. It's nice to be able to need a piece of equipment and have the resources there. I spent several years doing these videos and barely making any money. YouTube does not pay a lot in ad revenue, but I didn't start out doing it for the money. But you guys have turned it into just a real blessing for our family. So I just thank you to all our patrons. You guys are the best. All right. Thank you guys so much. And we'll stop talking. We'll be back on Saturday with another free video for you. I'm not really sure exactly what we're painting. We're painting chocolates. I'm looking forward to that one. Yeah, for Valentine. I think.
Yes.
Yeah, Valentine's chocolates. Yeah. So it'll be a lot of fun. All right. See you guys then. Thanks for watching. Bye.